Hi, everyone. Welcome to another session. Thank you for being here. My name is Claudia Aly, and I will start in a couple of seconds. Specifically talking about the financial aid offers. But before I get started, I'll go over some housekeeping items. So as a reminder, this session is or will be available in our YouTube page. If you have any questions during today's session, please use the Q&A option at the bottom of your right-hand side of your screen. And then if you don't have any questions today, maybe later, you can also use the ISAC College Q&A, which is a free service where you or your student can send us text messages with whatever your question is, and we'll be able to answer to those questions or those concerns. For those who are here for the first time and you don't know about ISAC or our agency, so the Illinois Student Assistance Commission, or ISAC, is the college access and financial aid agency here in the state of Illinois that administers financial aid programs to help pay for college. And basically, our mission is to provide information, assistance to help make education beyond high school accessible and affordable. And so with that, I will cover just a brief overview about what is FAFSA and when a student completes this application. So students in high school, when they're in their senior year, they have to complete their financial aid application, whether it be the free application for federal student aid or FAFSA, or the alternative application for them to see if they are eligible to receive financial aid. Financial aid can be, either grants, scholarships, work study, or loans. And again, the student can apply by completing the FAFSA. Why is financial aid important? Because it helps, covering the college expenses. And if your student don't apply, they will not know whether they're eligible to receive funds from the financial aid programs. So there are state programs and there are federal programs as well. So again, in order for your student to be to know whether they are eligible, they have to complete the FAFSA for federal and state programs, or the alternative application for undocumented students to be able to receive financial aid from the state. So you might be wondering, what is it that happens after or once the student submits a FAFSA? First of all, the student has to make sure that the application was submitted correctly. So they can always go in their studentaid.gov and check the status of the application. But once it is processed, the student will have the option to review the FAFSA submission summary. So the FAFSA submission summary is basically a summary of the FAFSA information that was submitted. The student will be able to check their personal information, financial information. They will also be able to see an estimated federal financial aid eligibility. And this is where the student can make corrections or updates. Perhaps the student wants to add a school that they forgot to include, or that they were not considering at the time that they submitted the FAFSA. This will be the time when they can add or delete schools. If they no longer are interested in a particular school, they can also delete that from the application. Usually the student will receive a notification via email letting them know that the FAFSA submission summary is available. But again, if for some reason they can't find the email, or the email was never received, they can always go back to their account, their studentaid.gov account, and check the status of the FAFSA. And the student will be able to see the FAFSA submission summary there as well. So once your student's FAFSA is processed, basically the Department of Education sends the FAFSA results or the information to the colleges and universities your students selected on their FAFSA. The colleges use the FAFSA results to determine your students' financial aid eligibility and either create a financial aid package for your student, or sometimes the student could get selected for verification. However, it is important to note that colleges do not create a financial aid package for a student unless the student has applied and been admitted to that college. So basically, including a college on the FAFSA allows that institution to access the student's financial information. Schools typically only generate financial aid offers for students who have completed their admissions application and have been accepted. So if a student is interested in receiving financial aid from a specific school, they have to make sure that that they apply for admission and meet the financial aid deadline for that institution. The actual deadline that the institution may have. So again, in order for your student to receive a financial aid offer, they have to apply for that particular college. So what happens if the student is selected for verification? So verification is something that happens after completing the application. And once the school receives the FAFSA information, the school might decide to to have this process with specific or certain students. This is a common process, so this is nothing to be alarmed. This is a process that colleges use to confirm that the data that was reported on the FAFSA is accurate. Again, this is a very normal process. I know students, think that they did something wrong, but this is a completely normal process. Not every student is selected for verification, but if your student is selected, please don't assume that you did something wrong. Again, all you need to do is to provide the documentation the college is requesting. They may ask for household size. They might ask for a signed statement with name, age, and relationship to the applicant. They may ask for income verification for those parents who earn income but did not file a tax return. They may be asked to provide documentation of income. And sometimes they may also ask for a proof of identity. So again, just make sure to provide whatever it is that they're asking by the college deadline. Or your student may not be eligible for some types of financial aid. So be on the lookout. Make sure to remind your students to check their email. This is a big issue that some students are not checking their emails. They either are not checking for their financial aid offer, or they might not follow up with whatever it is that the college is requesting. So again, pay attention on those emails that are coming through. And then the other thing that you may expect once the FAFSA is submitted is receiving a financial aid offer, or also known as the award letters, right? So this is something that your student will be receiving via email or the postal through the postal service. But again, at some point, it all depends when the student submits a FAFSA. But after submitting it, each college to which the student has been admitted and that was listed on their FAFSA will send a student a financial aid offer. So receiving a financial aid offer will depend on when the student submitted the FAFSA. Again, like I mentioned it, but typically it is during the spring. So around this time, that's when they, or some students might start getting or receiving these financial aid offers. I actually heard a couple of students who have already received their financial aid offers. So just again, be on the lookout for these offers on your email. Um, again, so what is a financial aid offer? So basically, this is just a document that outlines the financial aid offer to a student, and we will also share a sample of how it looks. Some schools may send these offers, like I said, via email. Sometimes they will use postal services. When I was in college, I received it via postal service. But some, colleges or universities may send it both ways, right? Just in case they miss the email, they have a hard copy as well. The financial aid offers vary from school to school, but there are some key sections that may be similar for every financial aid offer. For instance, most, if not all, financial aid offers will include the cost of attendance, right? How much is the estimated cost for the year, including tuition fees, room and board, and other costs associated with it. Um, Financial aid offers also may include the Student Aid Index or the SAI, and this is how much the family is expected to contribute toward the student's education based on the information that was submitted on the FAFSA. And then the financial aid offer will include, whatever the programs or whatever the funds the student was eligible to receive. So there might be grants, there might be scholarships, there might be student loans, or even the work study program, if the student is eligible. So just to refresh from the previous sessions that I have covered, so the different types of financial aid are grants and scholarships. So this is free money. This is money that the student will receive, and they don't have to pay back. There are also private and federal student loans. The federal loans are the ones that we usually talk to students about. There are subsidized and unsubsidized, and there is also the work study program, right? So the work study program is a program that provides a part-time job for students to help them pay for their educational expenses, and the hours are flexible enough to accommodate the student's class schedule. So if the student is eligible for this particular program, the student is responsible to find a job. So it's not that they're eligible and they're automatically will have a job. So they're responsible to look for a job, and normally these jobs are on campus. So it's a really good program in my opinion, because they work while they're in on campus, and they usually have free times between one class and the other, and that's the time that they can use to work. If the student is eligible for all of these programs, they should be listed on the financial aid offer that will be sent to the student. Just one of the things that always mention and talk to parents is about when accepting this financial aid offer, to pay attention to what is a loan, what is free money. If the free money is not covering the cost of attendance, they will also offer the student loans. So the way to look at it is that on this financial aid offer, they will include the cost of attendance, and they will subtract the financial aid offer to the student. The remainder will be the students or the family's responsibility to pay. However, if there were loans included in the calculation, the student will also be responsible to pay those for those loans. So just remember that with federal student loans, the subsidized or the unsubsidized, your student is not required to make payments while enroll at least part-time in school. But it's important to know that that the student has to be responsible to pay for these loans, whether while in school or once they graduate. So they have to know what is the repayment terms for these loans, what is the interest rate for the loan, and just get familiar into what it is that you're accepting. Sometimes I have families who share that all the tuition, everything is going to be covered by financial aid, but they don't know that what they're accepting is part of what they're accepting are loans. So just be careful when looking at those financial aid offers, just to make sure you understand everything that is listed in there. Usually it gives you instructions as what are the next steps the students should do next. Whether it is to accept or decline a loan or whatever it is, all the instructions will be listed on your financial aid offer, or they will refer the student to go to their college profile to follow the next steps. Some of the common questions or concerns that I have heard from families that I have been working with: what if the financial aid offer includes loans? Again, look for the instructions on how to accept or decline those loans. And also, very, very important that if only a portion of the loan is needed, let the financial aid office know. Sometimes, they might offer the student $5,000 on student loans, but if you are able to do a payment plan or pay that amount, you don't really need to accept that loan, right? So you just have to notify the financial aid office that you will not be accepting that loan. Or if it is a portion of that loan, let's say the student gets offered a $5,000 loan, but you can pay half. So you can just let the financial aid office that you are only accepting half of that student loan. What if the financial aid offer doesn't cover the full cost of attendance? So an option, again, the student might have to accept loans, if they really wanted to attend this particular school. But also, the student can also apply to as many scholarships possible. There are really no limitations as how many your student can apply. We can also share that information on the chat for your student to start, searching for additional scholarships. What to do if your financial situation changed from the time the FAFSA or the alternative application was submitted. It is really important to reach out to the financial aid office at the school your student is attending or planning to attend, letting them know about the change in your financial situation and explain the specifics. For instance, you lost your job, or you got your hours reduced, or any significant change in household income. It is important to notify the financial aid office. They often have procedures for appealing or adjusting aid based on justifying circumstances. So that would be important to communicate with them, all these changes. They may request proof of job loss or a proof of reduction in income or other financial hardship you experience. But again, this could be something that the financial aid office needs to be notified. And so with that, I just want to give some time for any questions you may have. Again, we just shared a sample for a financial aid offer. Like I mentioned, these vary from school to school. They're not going to look all the same. And this is just an example for you to check at those common sections. Like I mentioned, the cost of attendance. There might be the student aid index, which is the amount that is expected from your family to pay for college. Pay attention to grants. Again, grants is free money. Scholarship is free money. And it is really important to pay attention to those student loans, whether it's private loan or it is federal student loans. Know what are the conditions of those loans. And again, this is a very important to understand because it happened to me as a student. I really didn't need the student loans. I was not aware. I didn't know how those loans worked. I ended up with student loans that I did not need. And then you don't know what could happen after, and then you end up with this debt, right? So it is important to check those important aspects of your financial aid offer. Again, this is around the time that colleges, universities will start sending those financial aid offers, and just keep an eye on your or the student should be keeping an eye on their emails. So with that, um, I will check the Q&A. Okay. So I see a question about I am not sure how to proceed with the application. Are you referring to the FAFSA? I'm not sure what application you're referring to. Okay, so we have assistance from our ISAC core members to complete that application. We can share the link where you can make an appointment with them. Again, our services are free, and you can sit whether we have options to do virtually or in person. But the link that we will be sharing is for the virtual appointments with one of our ISAC core members. So I will share that right now. Or- Okay, so that's for you to make an appointment, and then so we also shared or recommend to use Apply for outside scholarships, and that was also shared in the chat. So apply.com is a good resource for your students to look for additional financial aid in the form of scholarships. And then if you have further, like if you have questions later, or I missed one of your questions, I will also share a phone number where you can send your questions. There is a person answering those questions. So again, this is also a free service. Um, So that number is 847-243-6470. And again, you can send us your questions there as well. For the other question, is there a date that everyone should receive the award letter, even if they're not receiving any aid? So in order for the student to know whether they're receiving financial aid or not, to my understanding, they should get a financial aid offer from the school that they're applying, because even if the student is not, let's say the student is not eligible to receive federal or state financial aid, the school might have funds to offer to the student as a scholarship. So it is important to check with the school that the student applied to, or that the student was accepted. Check with the financial aid office, and they should be able to give you more information on that. Sometimes students are waiting and waiting to receive a financial aid offer, but sometimes they don't realize that there is probably an issue with their FAFSA, right? That they thought they submitted the FAFSA, and probably they did submit the FAFSA, but there might be something that was missing, right? Parent signature is one of the big things that sometimes the students miss. And again, the federal student aid sends emails letting them know that there was something wrong, but the students are either not taking action, or they're really not checking their emails. So one of the things that I would suggest now is have your student to log in into their federal student aid account, and check the status of the FAFSA, just to make sure that everything is correct, or that everything was processed. So as a follow-up regarding the question, when is the date that everyone should receive an award letter? So May 1st is considered the decision day for students. So many campuses get their offers out at least, by that time. So one of the other things that I want to share, again, like I mentioned at the beginning, I work with parents. So if anyone needs assistance in understanding the financial aid offer, or have any other questions related to college planning, financial aid process, please don't hesitate to contact us. You can send us a text message. I already shared the number, and then we can schedule a phone call, or we can schedule a one-on-one meeting to help you on whatever it is that you need. In addition to the parent component, like I mentioned, we have ISAC core members who work throughout the state, and they basically help your students completing the financial aid offer. If you are unsure whether the financial aid offer was completed correctly, you can meet with one of them, and sit together and go over the financial aid application. So thank you so much for being here with me tonight. Hopefully we'll be having another session for the next month. Have a good rest of your evening. And again, thank you so much for being there for your students as well. So I was just waiting for one more minute to see if there was another question coming through. But if not, again, thank you so much, and have a wonderful night.